She laughed first. That soft, confident laugh I used to love. The one that filled rooms, charmed strangers, and softened tempers. But tonight, it scraped like glass. Her eyes flicked toward her brother as she said something in Arabic, the kind of hushed, conspiratorial tone people use when they think you're too foreign to understand. They laughed. I smiled. And then I answered her in perfect Arabic. Her fork froze halfway to her mouth. Her brother's smirk evaporated. Her mother's eyes darted between us, confused. The air shifted, heavy, silent. That was the moment she realized I knew everything. We met 5 years ago in Dubai. She was the kind of woman you notice even in a crowded cafe. All warmth and mystery. Fluent in 3 languages and fluent too in the art of drawing men in without effort. I was in the city for work, a project manager negotiating with her father's company. She offered to help translate a contract over coffee. I didn't know then that I was translating myself into a future that would cost me everything. She made me believe in belonging. A foreign city, a foreign tongue, and yet with her I felt at home. She taught me Arabic, or at least enough to survive daily life. She laughed when I struggled with pronunciation, kissed me when I got a word right. I didn't know she was only teaching me what she wanted me to hear. The first crack appeared a year ago. Small things, the way she'd silence her phone when I entered the room, the hushed calls in the kitchen, the scent of a man's cologne that wasn't mine on her scarf. I told myself I was imagining it, that love shouldn't sound like suspicion. But love, I learned, is the perfect disguise for deceit. I started noticing patterns, the late meetings, the hotel receipts that didn't match her stories, the same car parked 2 blocks away every Thursday night. It wasn't jealousy that made me investigate. It was instinct. When I found the messages, I didn't react. I read each one carefully, line by line, like a confession she hadn't realized she'd written. Her lover, Keed, a man she'd met at her company's regional office. She called him Habibi. I noted the words, the phrases, the lies. I didn't rage. I didn't confront her. I simply saved them all. And I began to plan. My revenge wasn't loud. It was measured, surgical. First, I learned her language properly. This time, every evening, I studied podcasts, audiobooks, courses. I wanted fluency, not just in words, but in tone, in nuance, in deception. I learned the exact way she lied. Second, I met with a lawyer quietly, discreetly. We reviewed the prenuptial agreement she'd insisted was just a formality. I discovered her financial dependencies. Her name wasn't on the apartment lease. Her accounts were joint, her credit built under mine. Third, I gathered evidence, the messages, the photos, the receipts, enough to make denial impossible. Fourth, I waited. Patience is the cruelest weapon. That family dinner was her stage and my trap. We were visiting her parents for the first time since I discovered everything. She dressed beautifully that night, unaware she was walking into her own undoing. I played the part, the polite foreign husband, smiling through cultural differences until she made her joke. She leaned toward her brother, smirking, and said in Arabic, "He tries so hard, but he'll never really understand us. He's like a child playing house." They laughed, and that's when I set the match. "Ahiboku Aina," I said. The room froze. Then in her language, clear and calm, and yet for someone who doesn't understand, I've understood enough, especially the messages between you and Keed. Her face drained of color. Her father's hand tightened around his glass. Her mother whispered something under her breath. A prayer, maybe. I placed my phone on the table. The screen glowed with screenshots of her messages neatly organized into a single folder labeled Truth. "I think," I said softly, "this family deserves honesty." No one spoke. The only sound was the slow, deliberate tick of the wall clock behind her. She tried to speak, denial, excuses, whatever mask she could still reach for, but I cut her off with the final blow. I've already spoken with my lawyer. The lease, the accounts, the car, all in my name. You can stay here with your family tonight. I'll send someone for your things tomorrow. Then I stood, nodded politely to her father, and walked out. I didn't look back. Not at her, not at the house. I wanted her last image of me to be the same as her first, composed, distant, unreadable. Outside, the desert air felt colder than I remembered. I took a deep breath and for the first time in months, it didn't hurt. They say revenge doesn't heal. Maybe that's true. But it clarifies. It burns away illusions until all that's left is truth.